Good morning, road warriors, and welcome to another episode of Midlife Trucker, where I've swapped mahogany desk for diesel fumes and somehow kept my charm intact. It's just after sunrise at the Pilot in Pineville, Alabama, where the golden light makes this truck stop look almost like a resort. If your dream vacation includes questionable plumbing and a vending machine stuck in 1985. I kicked off the day with a shower that's more tepid dribble than luxury spa, because nothing says, "I'm thriving," like dodging mystery puddles and flip-flops. Next, I filled my thermos with coffee so strong it could negotiate a hostile takeover. Useless trivia. The average truck stop brews enough coffee daily to fill a hot tub, okay? Maybe a kiddie pool, but it's still enough to keep every trucker from here to Montana wired. Did you know Pineville's name for the pine trees blanketing Alabama? It's like naming a town Potholeville because it's got roads. I knocked out my pre-trip inspection with the precision of a quarterly earnings report, checking tires, brakes, and that one bolt that's always plotting to jump ship. Fueled up the rig, $500 later because diesel's basically liquid Bitcoin, and I'm ready for my 0800 Central Daylight Time delivery appointment. Normally, my loads are on the show up during business hours plan. You know, that 8 to 5 window where warehouses pretend they're corporate offices. But this load, it's a special snowflake with a hard 8 o'clock deadline because apparently the world implodes if I'm late. Pro tip from your former C-suite guru. Time zones are the devil's jigsaw puzzle. Get them wrong, and you're begging a warehouse manager for forgiveness because you thought Alabama runs on Mars time. Joke time. Why did the trucker bring a sundial to the truck stop? To figure out if the coffee was brewed this morning or last century. Oh, and Pineville's claim to fame is a historic cotton mill from the 1800s, which is probably more exciting than the truck stop's Wi-Fi password. Snarky thought. Back in my exec days, I'd be sipping a $7 latte while dodging emails about strategic alignment. Now I'm dodging potholes and grinning like I just won the boardroom. Cruising down Alabama's finest blacktop, and this drive is smoother than a corporate motivational poster about teamwork makes the dream work. No traffic jams, no rogue deer auditioning for Wildlife Wipeout, just me and my rig gliding like we're in a low-budget remake of Smokey and the Bandit. This load's headed for a delivery that's practically a VIP event, complete with a contractor who's unloading forklifts, sans batteries, which, let's be honest, is a stroke of genius. Why? Because it means the forklifts and batteries arrive separately, like a power couple that knows how to make an entrance. The contractor's got the expertise to handle this high-tech handoff, ensuring those forklifts are ready to roll without me playing electrician. Useless trivia. The first forklift was built in 1917 by Clark, and back then it was basically a tractor with a midlife crisis and a pallet obsession. Fast forward to 2025, and we're still keeping it classy with battery-free deliveries, because who needs extra weight when you've got a pro contractor on the case? This hard 8 o'clock appointment is the trucking equivalent of a boardroom deadline, and I'm all about making it happen. Miss it, and you're not just late. You're the guy who tanked the entire supply chain. Back in my suit and tie days, being late meant a passive-aggressive email with "per my last message" in bold. Now it's angry dock workers and a paycheck that's stuck in limbo. Joke time. Why don't truckers play chess? Because we're too busy checkmating delivery windows. Oh, and Alabama's state mammal is the black bear, which I'm praying doesn't decide to crash my delivery with a picnic basket. Another fun fact, this highway, US 231, was part of the old Spanish Trail, a trade route that's way less glamorous when you're dodging construction cones and billboards for discount tires. Snarky thought. My old office had a view of a parking lot and a dumpster fire of a morale problem. This road, it's my new C-suite, with better scenery and zero urgent memos. Here's another gem. Alabama's got over 4,000 miles of state highways, and I'm pretty sure I've hit every pothole on this stretch. I'm channeling my inner executive to nail this delivery window, because out here, punctuality is the only thing keeping me from a warehouse manager's wrath. And let's give a shout out to that contractor. Separating forklifts and batteries means they're basically the logistics equivalent of a Michelin star chef, making my job easier and my delivery smoother. Keep on trucking. Here I am, rolling free and easy with an empty trailer. Fresh off the forklift unloading saga, that moves slower than a corporate diversity training video on a Monday morning. 2 hours of waiting, and I'm convinced the contractor was using a pulley system straight out of a history museum, probably powered by carrier pigeons. But let's talk about the real jackpot. My next pickup's in Atlanta, and it doesn't deliver until Tuesday. That means I get to play rockstar trucker and park this 75-foot beast. Yes, 75 feet, longer than a blue whale and twice as cool in my driveway for the holiday weekend. This, my friends, is the ultimate flex. Bringing my rig home is like hoisting a trophy over my old cubicle life where taking work home meant a laptop, a soul-crushing inbox, and a 3 a.m. email from a boss who didn't understand time zones. Now, my commute to work is measured in steps, not miles. Literally a stroll from my front door to the cab, no traffic, no parking wars, just pure, unadulterated freedom. I'm basically living the dream of every corporate drone who ever stared at a spreadsheet and wished for escape. Useless trivia. A semi-truck and trailer at 75 feet is longer than the average T-Rex fossil, which means I'm hauling prehistoric swagger down these Alabama highways. I'm cruising through this diesel-fueled paradise, listening to podcasts, and feeling like the star of a trucking blockbuster. Think Mad Max, but with better coffee and fewer explosions. Joke time. Why did the trucker park his rig at home? Because home office sounds way better when it's got 18 wheels and a horn that could wake a coma patient. Oh, and Alabama's state tree is the longleaf pine, which I'm passing by the dozen out here. Tall, proud, and not charging me rent like my old office building. Snarky thought. My old boardroom had a Keurig that broke weekly, and a view of a copier that jammed daily. This empty trailer? It's lighter than my old expense account, freer than my old schedule, and the best part? I'm my own boss out here, answering only to the open road in my GPS, which, let's be honest, has a better personality than my old HR rep. Another fun fact, Alabama produces 1.2 billion pounds of peanuts annually, which explains the boiled peanut stands every 5 miles, because apparently someone thought soggy peanuts were a personality trait. Here's another joke. Why don't truckers miss their office jobs? Because we traded conference calls for country roads, and the only action items are getting home to a hot dinner. I'm rolling through this mobile C-suite, counting down to that driveway moment when I park this rig like a victory lap, knowing my commute tomorrow will be a handful of steps to the greatest office on earth. This is trucking done right, and I'm loving every sarcastic, horsepower-fueled second of it. Welcome to the scenic portion of today's board meeting, where rural Alabama is dishing out views so stunning they'd make a corporate retreat's keynote speaker quit in shame. We've got rolling hills, pine forest denser than my old company's employee handbook, and roadside attractions that practically beg you to pull over and snap a selfie for the gram. Forget my old corner office with its pathetic window view of a parking lot and a seagull that chain smoked like it was auditioning for a mob movie. This is my new executive suite, with 360 degrees of nature's finest PowerPoint slides. No projector, no buzzwords, just pure, unfiltered America. Useless trivia. Alabama's got 1.3 million acres of farmland, growing everything from cotton to pecans, which explains why every other billboard is peddling boiled peanuts. Who decided boiling a peanut was a culinary masterpiece? It's like dunking a Twix in hot water and calling it fine cuisine. Hard pass. Joke time? Why don't truckers get bored in Alabama? Because the scenery's so good you forget you're hauling someone else's junk for a living? Back in my exec days, I'd be trapped in a conference call about leveraging synergies while secretly doodling escape plans. Out here, I'm leveraging my CB radio to eavesdrop on trucker gossip. Way more entertaining than water cooler drama. Oh, and fun fact, Alabama's state insect is the monarch butterfly, which is probably flitting around out there, living its best life while the guy who invented boiled peanuts is still wondering where it all went wrong. Snarky thought? If you're not jealous of my rolling office with these views, you're probably still hyped about free bagels in the break room. Another trivia tidbit, Alabama's got over 23 million acres of forest, and I'm cruising through what feels like half of them. Each pine tree a reminder that I'm free from fluorescent lights and TPS reports. Here's another gem. Just passed a sign for a local diner claiming world's best catfish, which is bold. Considering I've seen truck stop sushi, that's braver. Joke number 2. Why did the cow stand in the middle of this Alabama road? Because it heard I was coming and wanted to be my first roadblock since leaving corporate. I'm rolling past fields that stretch longer than my old commute and barns so old they probably have tenure. Fun fact number 3. Alabama's state soil, yes, they have an official soil, is called Bama soil, which sounds like something my old marketing team would have spent 6 months branding. These miles are my therapy, cheaper than a life coach and twice as scenic. Every curve in this road feels like a middle finger to my old cubicle life, and I'm soaking up every second of this diesel-fueled freedom like it's a corner office with a view of the entire heart of Dixie. The Alabama scenery train keeps chugging along, delivering more postcard-worthy views than a corporate team-building retreat's Instagram feed, minus the forced group selfies and trust falls. We're cruising through towns that look like they've been frozen since Eisenhower was president, complete with diners serving pie so good it could probably broker a UN peace treaty. Useless trivia. Alabama's nicknamed the Heart of Dixie, a nod to its southern roots, which sounds like a country song title but feels like a love letter to these back roads. My old office had a water cooler that gurgled like it was haunted, and a motivational poster about thinking outside the box that made me want to climb inside one. Out here, I'm living outside the office suite, soaking up views of barns older than my 401k and fields that stretch longer than my old rush hour commute. Joke time. Why did the Scarecrow become a trucker? Because he was outstanding in his field, literally and figuratively. There's a sign for the world's largest office chair somewhere near Anniston, Alabama, 33 feet tall, because apparently someone decided a giant chair was a better use of funds than, say, paving over the potholes I'm dodging like a Mario Kart Pro. Snarky thought, if you're not jealous of my mobile corner office with these views, you're probably still thrilled about casual Fridays and free stale bagels in the break room. Another fun fact, Alabama's state reptile is the Alabama red-bellied turtle, which is probably crossing this road slower than my last performance review. Sorry, turtle, I've got a schedule to keep. Here's another trivia nugget. Alabama's got over 67,000 miles of rivers and streams, which I'm guessing are out there somewhere, sparkling under the sun while I'm marveling at a roadside stand selling genuine Elvis bobbleheads. Joke number 2. Why don't truckers get lost in Alabama? Because the scenery's so good, you're too busy gawking to care where the GPS is sending you. I just spotted a faded billboard for a local festival called the Rattlesnake Rodeo, which sounds like the kind of event my old HR department would have tried to turn into a team-building exercise. Snarky thought number 2. Back in my corporate days, the only open road was the hallway to the copier, and the only wildlife was the intern who kept stealing my pens. These Alabama backroads are my new boardroom, with views that beat any PowerPoint deck and a vibe that screams freedom louder than my rig's air horn. Every mile out here is a reminder that I've traded pie charts for pine trees, and I'm loving every sarcastic second of it. Welcome to Atlanta, where the traffic's a suggestion, the chaos is mandatory, and I'm parked at a live load pickup, watching the dock workers move slower than a corporate IT guy fixing a printer. For you non-truckers, a live load means I sit here while they load my trailer at the pace of a sloth reading a tax code. Useless trivia. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport handles over 100 million passengers a year, but their cargo docks make you question if they've ever heard of efficiency. Live loads are the universe's way of saying, hey Tom, enjoy some forced downtime to contemplate your life choices. So I'm multitasking like the exec I used to be, editing vlog clips, debating a truck stop burrito, and scrolling X for the latest hot takes on, artisanal diesel additives. Joke time. Why did the trucker bring a book to the loading dock? Because he thought live load meant he'd have time to read War and Peace. Back in my suit days, I'd be leading a meeting about optimizing workflows. Now I'm optimizing my snack inventory and napping strategy. Oh, and fun fact. Atlanta's home to the Varsity, the world's largest drive-in restaurant serving enough chili dogs to clog the arteries of every trucker on I-285. Snarky thought, my old office had a coffee machine that broke weekly. Out here, my office has 18 wheels and a better soundtrack. Another trivia tidbit, Atlanta was originally called Terminus because it was the end of the railroad line. Fitting. since I'm feeling like the end of my patience waiting for this load. Let's hope they wrap this up before I start writing my memoirs. Hallelujah! I'm cruising Atlanta's I-285 bypass, and it's smoother than a corporate lawyer's expense account after a client dinner at a steakhouse. I dodged rush hour like I used to dodge those pointless 8 a.m. meetings, which, let's be real, is the trucker equivalent of hitting the Powerball jackpot. Back in my executive days, I had several offices scattered across the outskirts of Atlanta. Think Conyers, Lawrenceville, and that one across from Chick-fil-A Baptist in Jonesboro, and I ran this I-285 gauntlet regularly, navigating it like a pro while juggling conference calls and coffee spills. Now I'm back on this familiar loop, but instead of a briefcase, I've got 75 feet of pure diesel swagger, and I'm loving every second of it. Useless trivia, I-285 is 63 miles long, circling Atlanta like a moat designed to keep us truckers away from the city's hipster coffee shops and overpriced lofts. Trucks aren't allowed to just waltz through downtown because apparently we'd ruin the vibe of Atlanta's artisanal kombucha stands and yoga studios, so it's the bypass or bust. Today, it's all clear. No gridlock, no road-raging soccer moms in minivans, just me and my rig owning the road like I used to own a boardroom presentation. Joke time. Why don't trucks run through downtown Atlanta? Because the city's afraid we deliver common sense along with our freight, and that's just too much for Peachtree Street to handle. Oh, and fun fact, Atlanta's named after the Western and Atlantic Railroad, so I guess I'm just keeping the transportation tradition alive minus the top hat and monocle. Snarky thought, if Atlanta's traffic was a person, it'd be that coworker who schedules a 4 p.m. meeting on a Friday and brings a 50-slide deck. Another trivia nugget, Atlanta hosted the 1996 Olympics, which is probably the last time this bypass saw light traffic, unless you count that one Tuesday in 2003 when everyone was apparently napping. Here's another gem. Atlanta's got over 1,200 miles of roads in its metro area, and I'm pretty sure I've cursed at least half of them in my old suit and tie days while stuck behind a delivery van going 20 under the limit. Joke number 2. Why did the trucker love the I-285 bypass? Because it's the only place where rush hour feels like a victory lap when you beat it. Back when I was an exec, I'd be stressing over quarterly reports and dodging emails about team synergy. Now I'm channeling that same energy to outsmart Atlanta's traffic patterns, cruising like I've got a corner office on 18 wheels. Fun fact number 3, Atlanta's skyline includes the Bank of America Plaza, that building with the gold-colored argon lighting that looks like it's trying to flex on every other skyscraper. Snarky thought number 2, my old offices had views of manicured landscaping and the occasional taco truck. This bypass? It's my new boardroom, with a skyline backdrop that beats any PowerPoint slide. And I'm savoring every mile of this diesel-fueled freedom like it's a promotion I actually earned. And here we are, the home stretch, my absolute favorite part of any run, because nothing screams weekend like parking 75 feet of pure diesel awesomeness in my driveway in Shadydale, Georgia, the smallest incorporated city in the entire state. Fun fact, Shadydale's so tiny, it makes Mayberry look like a metropolis, with a population that could probably fit in a single truck stop diner. But don't let the size fool you. This place is home to the Shadydale Rodeo, where folks wrestle steers and dreams under the Georgia stars. And I'm pretty sure the rodeo's got more horsepower than my old corporate office ever did. Parking my rig at home is like planting a victory flag on Mount Freedom. A far cry from my executive days when home meant a laptop glowing at 2 a.m. and a pile of emails marked urgent by someone who didn't know the meaning of the word. Here in Shadydale, my commute is measured in steps, not miles. Just a quick stroll from my rig to the front door, where dinner's waiting like a Michelin star chef decided to set up shop in my kitchen. Useless trivia. The average trucker drives 100,000 miles a year, enough to circle the earth 4 times, but I'm pretty sure I've circled my sanity a few extra laps dealing with shippers and receivers. Back in my suit and tie life, I'd be prepping for Monday's strategy session, agonizing over a pie chart nobody would read, probably stuck in a meeting room that smelled like burnt coffee and broken dreams. Now, I'm strategizing how to sneak an extra slice of pizza without the family noticing, and let me tell you, that's a promotion I'll take any day. Joke time. Why did the trucker quit the office job? because the only open road in corporate was the hallway to the coffee machine, and it was always out of creamer. Oh, and another fun fact. Shady Dale's so small it's practically a whisper on the map, but it's got more charm than every Atlanta high-rise I used to haunt combined. Snarky thought. My old office had a view of a copier and a guy who microwaved fish for lunch. Yes, Gary, I'm still mad about that. This rig? It's my ticket out of the office suite rat race, and parking it here in Shady Dale feels like winning the logistics lottery. Another trivia tidbit. The first semi-truck hit the road in 1898, and I bet that driver never dreamed of GPS units that say recalculating like it's their life's mission. Here's another joke. Why is parking my rig at home the best part of my week? Because it's the only time I get to trade diesel fumes for home-cooked grub and a couch that doesn't vibrate at 65 miles per hour. Speaking of grub, dinner's calling my name louder than a dispatcher on a tight schedule, and I'm not about to keep it waiting. From boardrooms to back roads, I've swapped PowerPoint for horsepower, and I'm grinning wider than a kid at the Shady Dale Rodeo with a front row seat. It's time to wrap up this vlog, do my post-trip inspection with the enthusiasm of a man who knows a hot shower and a real bed are just steps away, and head inside to chow down. So until next time, make sure you're enjoying every day at work, because if I can trade a corner office for a cab and still laugh, you've got no excuse.